First Republic Bank is a regional bank that serves niche markets such as high-net-worth individuals, professionals, and businesses. The bank faced a crisis of confidence from investors and customers after the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank last week. These two banks failed due to an exodus of depositors who feared they would lose their money amid a banking crisis. First Republic Bank also had a lot of unsecured deposits that could be flighty, especially from its tech and venture capital clients who were affected by the failures of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. The bank experienced significant deposit outflows and liquidity problems. As a result, the bank tried to reassure its customers and investors that it had enough liquidity and capital to survive the crisis. It said it had tapped additional liquidity from the Federal Reserve and JPMorgan Chase, and that it had $70 billion of unused liquidity. It also said it was eligible to seek more funding from the Fed if needed. However, these measures did not seem to quell the fears or stop the withdrawals. The bank's stock price plunged by almost 80% last week, making it one of the worst performers in the banking sector. On Thursday, March 16, 2023. A group of 11 large banks announced that they would deposit $30 billion in First Republic Bank as a show of support and confidence. The banks included Bank of America, Citigroup, JPMorgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, PNC Financial Services Group, US Bancorp, Truist Financial Corporation, Fifth Third Bancorp, and Regions Financial Corporation. The move was praised by regulators such as Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, FDIC Chairman Martin Gruenberg, and Acting Comptroller of the Currency Michael Hsu. They said it demonstrated the resilience of the banking system and was most welcome. However, even after receiving this lifeline, First Republic Bank still faced challenges. On Friday, March 17, 2023, the bank announced that it would suspend its quarterly dividend of 27 cents per share, while it focused on reducing its wholesale borrowings and figuring out the ultimate size of its balance sheet. The bank also said that as of March 15, 2023, it had $34 billion in cash, which did not include the $30 billion injection. The bank's stock price continued to decline after this announcement, indicating that investors were still skeptical about its prospects. Over the weekend, the White House were in talks with Warren Buffett reportedly about a possible investment in regional banks like First Republic Bank. However, there is no confirmation or announcement of any deal involving Buffett and any bank so far. They may have talked the causes and consequences of the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, and the problems facing First Republic Bank. The actions taken by regulators, such as the FDIC and the Fed, to protect depositors and stabilize the banking system. The role of large banks, such as JPMorgan, Bank of America, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo, in providing liquidity support to First Republic Bank. The potential impact of the banking crisis on the economy, financial markets, consumer confidence, and public trust. The possible opportunities for Buffett or other investors to inject capital into regional banks, or acquire them at discounted prices. The risks and challenges involved in investing in regional banks during a crisis. The best strategies and policies to prevent future banking crises or mitigate their effects. Buffett uses his capital during previous recessions to buy financial stocks that are down in the market because he believes they are undervalued and have strong long-term prospects. He looks for banks that have solid balance sheets, loyal customers, competitive advantages, and good management teams. He also negotiates favorable terms for his investments, such as preferred shares that pay high dividends or warrants that give him the option to buy more shares at a low price in the future. He holds his investments for a long time and waits for the market to recover and recognize the value of his holdings. He sells his investments when he thinks they are fairly valued or overvalued, or when he finds better opportunities elsewhere. Buffett invested in a few financial companies during the Great Recession. In 2009, he invested $2.6 billion in Swiss Re, a reinsurance company that had suffered losses from the financial crisis. He later sold his stake for a profit of $1 billion in 2010. He invested $5 billion in Goldman Sachs, a global investment bank that had faced liquidity problems and regulatory scrutiny during the crisis. He later sold his stake for a profit of $3.7 billion in 2011. He invested $5 billion in Bank of America, a large commercial bank that had struggled with mortgage losses and legal issues during the crisis. He later sold his stake for a profit of $12 billion. He also bought stakes in other financial companies, such as American Express, Wells Fargo, U.S. Bancorp, and Mann Bank. During that period, Buffett's investments showed his ability to spot value and opportunity in different segments of the financial sector during a downturn. He also earned substantial returns on his investments over time. He may do that again in 2023 if he sees attractive opportunities in the banking sector amid the current crisis. Why would Buffett want to buy or invest in First Republic Bank in the first place? He sees an opportunity to acquire undervalued First Republic Bank at a discount amid the crisis. He believes in the long-term prospects of this bank that serve niche markets and have loyal customers. He wants to diversify his portfolio and reduce his exposure to large banks that face more regulatory scrutiny and competition. He wants to use his reputation and influence to restore confidence and stability in the banking sector. He wants to help the economy and society by supporting local businesses and communities. Buffett does own other banks right now. According to Berkshire Hathaway's latest 13F filing with the SEC, as of September 30, 2022, Buffett owned shares of Bank of America, American Express, U.S. Bancorp, Bank of New York Mellon, PNC Financial Services Group, Mann Bank Corporation, JPMorgan Chase & Co., Wells Fargo & Company, Synchrony Financial, StoneCo Ltd., MasterCard Incorporated and Visa Incorporated. First Republic Bank has been one of the most affected regional banks by the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank last week. The bank has faced severe liquidity problems and deposit outflows, and had to suspend its dividend after receiving a $30 billion injection from 11 large banks. It is possible that Buffett may have discussed First Republic Bank with the Biden officials, but there is no confirmation or announcement of any deal involving Buffett and First Republic Bank. Do you think Buffett will invest in First Republic Bank or another regional bank? Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.